finally ready now. The much anticipated matchup between the Oakland Raiders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Super Bowl 37.
They couldn't catch another shit. Cannons locked and loaded, so it's time to flip the script. Cruising through the bay on that Buccaneer battleship, sold up, screaming out, so Buck, what you heard? So Buck, what you heard? So Buck, what you heard? So Buck, what you heard?
All right, welcome back to Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, I will follow you back. And I'm joined by my co-host, long time no see. How you doing, Tampa Sports Bae?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty great. I'm happy to be back. It's been a while since I've done, so happy to be back. And there's lots for us to talk about. So
absolutely, I'm loving that Smack Apparel T-shirt you're wearing.
Yes, thank you. Shout out to Smack Apparel for, the LFG Tom Brady GOAT shirt. And then also I want to shout out a new company, Tampa Bay Nation, right here. You can follow them on Twitter, Tampa Bay Nation. Get all their swag out.
All right. So what's been new? What else has been new with you?
My sister had her baby, so we've got baby Bae in the house. Yeah, so she's already
gear, right?
Yeah, she's decked out. She's already got tons of Bucs gear, tons of Rays, Lightning, everything. She's got it all. So she's a Tampa Bay sports fan from birth, for sure.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. So anything else? I mean, there's so many things going on in the world, people getting vaccinations and this, that.
Yeah, I heard you got your first shot, right?
I went and got mine today.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. Lots of things are starting to slowly change for the better.
Yep. And now we can go to games. How about that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Get to hang out at the games. That's what I'm actually looking forward to.
Lots of the Lightning just started allowing fans back in the stadium, so that'll be awesome. I'm gonna try to go to a game this season at Amalie Arena. Hopefully get to some Rays games, and then obviously when Bucs season comes back around, definitely going to be going to some of those games.
Oh, you already know. Marcus Reed, how you doing? This has been an incredible offseason. I mean, I don't know that we could ever top last year getting Tom Brady and Gronk and Brown and just everybody that they were able to bring in at that one moment. But what Tampa's done this year with the amount of money that they had to work with is really incredible too. I used to always tip my cap to Mickey Loomis over in New Orleans, but I'm gonna tell you what, Jason Licht, and his team are really killing it.
Oh yeah, Jason Licht right now is a magician. I honestly don't understand what he's doing. I get the cap numbers and stuff. I'm not very good at math at all. So this is all goes right over my head, but I understand what's going on. Like, he's restructuring contracts. Players are taking less money. Players are taking less money, restructuring their contracts, so there's more room for players to come back. This is the Tom Brady effect. Yeah. Everybody wants to play for Tom Brady. There are other players right now out in the league that also want to play for Tom Brady as well. But, priorities, first things first, get the band back together, which they have so far.
Yeah, I do believe I think there may be one off, but I think they have almost all their starters signed right now.
Yeah, the only person is Antonio Brown, which some will say that he wasn't a starter. So, he
kind of came in later on. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But as far as, everybody from last season from the beginning is back. You got everybody back.
Yeah. question in chat here. Who do you go after, Fitzgerald or AB?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier to you. I was like, how do you feel about the rumors of Fitzgerald?
No, I'm good.
You good?
I would rather have Antonio Brown,
Mhm.
probably arguably one of the best route runners in the past, I don't know, 9-10 years. I mean, just how if you look at his effect on other players, Mike Evans has been running cleaner routes since AB's been here. I would even say Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's routes are a lot cleaner. I know that some people want to attribute that to Tom Brady, but when you have somebody that with the work ethic of an Antonio Brown, I mean, a lot of stuff that he does within the locker room positively has benefited the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, I would go after him first before I would even consider Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I've said from the beginning, everybody's talking about all these other players outside of the Bucs that there's been rumors of them coming to the Buccaneers. And I've said from the beginning, I was like, sign the players that were originally on the team, and then you can go after other free agents. But, there might not be money after that. So they're definitely going to have to take a pay cut if they want to go for a Super Bowl.
So I got to ask you, and I tweeted this earlier, if Bruce Arians told you your ass ain't going nowhere, would you believe him?
Oh, 100%. I believed him when he said it. Nobody in the media, not a single person believed that Bruce Arians and Jason Licht would be able to bring everybody back, but I knew he would be able to. Everyone's like, we're going to lose Shaq Barrett. He wants a big payday. Yep. He wants the bag. We're going to lose Levante David because other teams want him. No, these guys are dedicated Buccaneers. They're not going to go anywhere, and they want to win more than anything. Yeah,
absolutely. And I agree. I can't argue with that, but we've seen so many times throughout the Super Bowls where the guy that MVP gets all that exposure and then goes off to another team.
Right.
And they don't fare as well, where I think that football is the ultimate team sport with all the chemistry that's required, whether it's on the offensive line, the defensive line. You have to have chemistry within your secondary when players are trusting each other. Even that trust between the quarterback and running back. I mean, this is and that's the most important point, is winning as a team, which is what they did. I mean, you saw a real solid play on both sides of the ball in the trenches. So, again, I would rather take care of my own, because you know what you have, they know the system, and consistency makes a huge difference. And as Bucs fans, we've seen where we've had inconsistent teams, coaches, general managers, play calling, just the whole nine. And now you see what this team is doing, where everybody is focused on the same goal and they're all working as one unit. As what the Buck would say, they're in orchestra.
It's everything is being beautifully played. That's how it was coming together at the end of the season. They were all on the same page: offense, defense, offensive line, tight ends, everyone was on the same page. And I hope, and I think that they'll start off the season right where they left off.
Yeah, I think they'll be off to a faster start this year as opposed to last year.
Yeah.
Christopher Cole has an interesting question, and I wanted to pose this to you, and I'll answer after. But he said, why not both AB and Fitz?
I could see that definitely a possibility. First, I would like to go after AB. Like you said, I want to keep, I want to support our own, keep the band together. And, I like Fitzgerald. He's a dedicated player to the Arizona Cardinals. So I would find it hard to believe that he would not retire a Cardinal.
Right.
So, but I've always said that I like him. I admire him. He deserves a Super Bowl because he is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, or he was back when he was a little bit younger. But I would be fine with both coming to Tampa.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the wide receiver position now is a luxury. When you look at Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller, and you just signed Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and then you bring in an Antonio Brown.
Right. We already have we have like 3 number 1 wide receivers.
Yeah.
And so
Exactly.
why do we need more? But who knows?
And there are other positions that I could see. Maybe an edge rusher, somebody that you can get ready to groom when some of these players move on. Why not, possibly a defensive tackle or somebody that you can add into the rotation. We saw what happened when we lost Vita. So there are other positions. Somebody mentioned backup quarterback, which, that's been the elephant in the room that nobody's really wanted to talk about.
I mean, we've mentioned it in the offseason a little bit that, what's his name?
No.
Blaine Gabbert could possibly be, but I don't know. But yeah, I think that needs to be addressed at some point soon. But right now, they're just looking to go for another one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think that's the big difference between what Tampa did and what Kansas City did in the offseason and how they handled everything. So I love what Tampa's done. You're bringing back all your starters. You have a nice solid rotation. And, again, what more could you ask for?
I mean, yeah, you can't ask for much more. You've got a solid defense is what won the Super Bowl, and they're all coming back.
Right.
And, they're young and they're learning. So, everybody's talking about wanting to get a veteran corner. Well, our corners kind of play like veterans, in my opinion. They make some mistakes, but they're learning very quickly. So I don't really see the need for a veteran corner, or people want more veterans on the defense. But, they are like, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah. I guess what it all comes down to is we saw how this team was affected when certain people were out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that wouldn't be my first choice to look. I mean, like we were talking about your backup quarterback, whoever that might be. And, from the sounds of it, it might be Blaine Gabbert or whoever else they come up with. Or
Ryan Griffin, right?
Yeah, it's just bad either way. So, I mean, when you talk about Tom Brady
just average.
Yeah, you're talking a huge step down. I would even consider like I said, edge rusher, interior defensive lineman, somebody with linebacker depth. I mean,
that's what I feel like they're going to be picking up in the draft is more like tackles and defensive backs and stuff like that.
Yeah. To answer Sean Castillo, she's the co-host on Fridays. She has been since we started working together.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, life kind of got in the way, but I'm back in business, baby.
That's right. I had to drop that franchise tag on her, and we've got her locked up for a while here.
Yep. I don't get that big payday though, like some of these players. But that's okay. That's okay.
Well, Adam Davies, shout out to Bucs UK.
Bucs UK.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what this team can do with a full training camp and preseason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be great to see. Absolutely. And again, I'm not against any of the moves the Bucs make. You got to trust the process and just enjoy the ride. But for me, as I'm looking at who's available at wide receiver, I would take Antonio Brown before I would take Larry Fitzgerald. That's just my preference, just based on what we've seen from him, and he has produced in helping this team win a Super Bowl. So I would be definitely more likely to have somebody like an Antonio Brown over Larry Fitzgerald. But just to kind of reiterate what I was saying.
Absolutely. And, Tom Brady loves Antonio Brown. They have chemistry, and they've developed it even more since being on the same team this time. And, since winning a Super Bowl together. So definitely would prefer to have him over anybody else. And then, we've got our solid second, the second backup wide receiver.
Yeah, you just got depth. You've got a lot of depth on the team.
Slowly becoming number one receivers. It's so hard because you have Scotty Miller, Cameron Brate, Tyler Johnson is going to be a beast. He reminds me of Chris Godwin when he was younger. And when Chris Godwin first, was a rookie, like, I'm just so excited to see what Tyler Johnson can do. And it's sad that we have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, hopefully AB, Rob Gronkowski and stuff like that, because they're so good. But I also want to see more of the other guys too. So I've talked about this before. It kind of becomes a problem when you have too many wide receivers because you don't get to see everybody. But,
I think winning covers a lot of that up too, though.
Yeah. I understand. It's just that, I have some favorites. Like my soft spot, I have Cameron Brate as my soft spot. So is Scotty Miller. They're not the number one go-to guys all the time, but when they do make a play, it's a big play. So
yep, there you go. I mean, they're difference makers.
Absolutely.
That's what, and Shane Crabtree, that's kind of my philosophy with the draft. And I hope that, the Bucs are finally in a position where they can do it to get the best player available at that moment. And it just makes for a great asset for your team later on down the line.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see preseason games, to see training camp. Hopefully we'll be able to go to training camp they didn't have it last year, but I always enjoyed going to, One Buc Place and watching the training camp practices. That's always fun. So hopefully they allow that to happen this year.
Yeah, that would be great. Just more interaction. But I think as we get closer to, turning the corner with this pandemic, I think things will start to get so much better.
Yeah, we're right there. We're real close. So we're real close to everything getting better.
So sounds to me like everybody's enjoying the Super Bowl, still celebrating the Bucs winning the Super Bowl. And that's great.
Yep. Every day. I'm like, Bucs won the Super Bowl. I live in Tampa Bay, and this is the best time ever.
Well, you got fans out here. So how exciting is that?
Yeah.
Right. Man, we got a lot of guys from Bucs UK.
No, everybody's in the chat right now.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, you got a mix of everybody here.
Yeah.
Shane brought up a very interesting point here. I'm gonna jump onto this one here.
Okay.
Kick returner. And Jaden Mickens.
Yeah. He's all right. We've always had the Bucs have always just been okay at kick returner.
Yeah.
One thing people talked about when we first signed AB was the fact that he was a good kick returner, but we never saw that out of him. So I'd like to see more of that possibly coming up in the next season. I could potentially see that happening because I feel like they were just more getting him used to the offensive, like the playbook more than anything. They wanted him to be more solid and good on that than being on special teams.
Yeah. Again, in the chat, it's kind of mixed. Clay Lynch is saying we don't need another receiver to keep the money, get something different. Yeah, I agree. Travis Bartell was saying that you don't need AB. Will we get a preseason to see him? I'm feeling very optimistic about that. I think there will be just the way everything has been rolling out here. I would say the past 3 or 4 days, just the way governors are handling this whole thing now. And I really believe that they are going to, and I wouldn't risk my health or anything like that, or the health of somebody else. But if there's an opportunity to go and everything is, I feel safe enough, I'll definitely, be at events like that.
Right. Definitely. Fitzgerald.
Say what now?
Oh, I was just reading that comment.
Yeah.
Why don't they use AB? Yeah, that's what we said,
Yeah, again, maybe he doesn't feel like he wants to do that. That's not for him anymore. He's a lot older and, who knows? You never know what could be.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I think they wanted to give Jaden Mickens a chance because there was that one game, remember, when he was like the go-to receiver, which was very odd. Very, very odd.
Which game was that?
I don't remember, but I remember being like, why?
Yes. Okay.
And then, he got into some trouble recently. So who knows what's going on there. And that's kind of,
I do like the idea of a dangerous return man.
Mm-hmm.
You see teams like Kansas City, Chicago. I mean, even Atlanta always has a decent kick returner. The Bucs just cannot consistently land
they
that
never really haven't.
Yeah, so that's just unbelievable. So you want to take some calls? What do you think?
Yeah, let's take some calls for sure. I want to hear about everybody's opinions on free agency. We've been able to sign basically everyone.
Yep. I think there might be, with the exception, as you mentioned, the usuals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got Ryan Suckup, Mr. Irrelevant. We got Ndamukong Suh the other day. Of course, Tom Brady restructured his contract, so we got him for a couple more years. Then you got Chris Godwin, Levante David, Shaq Barrett. Leonard Fournette was just signed today. If anybody,
I saw your tweet.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette, breaking news if you haven't heard that yet. He'll be coming back. And that was one that I was a little I wouldn't say I was worried. That was one where I was like, it could go either way. Like, I wouldn't be concerned if he didn't come back, because I do believe in I do believe in the receivers that we have now, or the running backs that we have now. So I wouldn't have.
You know what's interesting?
Either way.
There are teams out there in the NFL that would love to have a Leonard Fournette or even a Ronald Jones. I'm going to say, but here, just if you listen in social media, everybody's pretty much written off Ronald Jones, basically.
Yeah, I just don't understand that. I mean, I understand what happened, and this is my theory. Leonard Fournette did not have vision during the regular season. He was not running very well. Ronald Jones was running very well and was starting to get some recognition. Unfortunately, Ronald Jones got injured. Yeah, he got injured, so he was out a couple games. He didn't get that 1,000 yards like we all hoped that he had.
He was 26 yards off from getting 1,000.
Right, yeah. So but then Leonard Fournette stepped it up in the playoffs. That's why everyone calls him, playoff Lenny, Lombardi Lenny, because he really stepped it up. And people kind of forgot about Ronald Jones. So I think it's pretty unfortunate. I mean, I really love Rojo, and I think they're going to keep him around, obviously, and work him and Leonard Fournette together. I just hope he has another great season, can stay healthy, and, maybe get his 1,000 yards this upcoming season.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Because I think after watching Leonard Fournette play in the regular season versus the playoffs, it's kind of strange to see, and I'm worried that he might fall back into like his old patterns of not having the vision of where the gaps are.
Yeah. So you that's kind of the way I see it too.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of people in the chat. That's crazy. Michael Bing said Jones had fumble problems and couldn't catch or block. Yeah,
that's true. He did have problems catching, but I think that's something that he'll definitely work on because he's young, and blocking is something to work on as well. I mean, he's a smaller guy, so there's not much that he can do up against some big guy.
There have been a lot of people that have written him off, and the one thing that I keep in mind, he's 23 years old, and he didn't have the best start. I still think a lot of the issues that he had are coachable. Coachable. He's a very violent runner, and when he's healthy, I was always excited to see what he could do when he was healthy. The quad injury really messed him up, and he was just not able to run like we've seen. I think a lot of people forget there were a bunch of penalties where there was one play, I think Ronald Jones ran for 45 yards and it got called back. So, again, I think he's fine. I'm not writing him off yet. I want to see what else he can do. He's an asset. And, again, you still have to think about this core, this running back core, because you may be down to one. I think when we go into 2022, I think Keyshawn Vaughn will be the only running back that I believe will be signed, because Fournette is a 1-year contract.
Right,
so
Fournette's 1 year, and then
he'll probably be in that category, like starter or something like that, where he's the guy now. So
right. I do believe in Keyshawn Vaughn. Shane is asking, do we believe in Vaughn? So I do believe in him. He was young. He did have problems with fumbling the ball a little bit, and but he's young, and I think that from what we have seen, the few games that he did play, he did pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. I think with the running back room as deep as it is, I mean, it's just hard to get reps. When you consider the wide receiver core, it's just hard there's only so much ball to go around for 4 quarters.
Right, absolutely.
So let's see. We're talking about Cordero Patterson from Chicago. I think he's a decent running back too. But again, the roster's fluid. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think that the Bucs, again, like we talked about, are in a position to get the best player available on the board. So definitely something to keep your eye on. So for you, what position would you draft if it was up to you?
So, after doing some draft analysis and everything, I'm looking more at like a defensive tackle position or like a defensive end, somebody. So I don't think like draft position, that we have in the first round, that player is going to be, ready and good to go, be a starter necessarily. But, I think that there's definitely room for development, especially with the defensive linemen that we already have, just being great leaders and being like outstanding players. So I could see a good like rotation defensive end or defensive lineman coming in.
What about the offensive line? Would you is there anything that you would change or maybe tweak or anything like that on the offensive line?
So one thing I did mention earlier in the season was possibly drafting a left tackle to kind of compete with Donovan Smith.
I remember.
But that was earlier in the season
when,
he wasn't doing as well. Now he's doing really well. They just signed him to an extension. So obviously the Bucs and Jason Licht and Bruce Arians believe in Donovan Smith, and he'll be here for a while. He definitely proved to us that he definitely proved to Bucs fans everywhere that he is a pretty great left tackle when he can keep the penalties under control. So, I don't know. Maybe some backups on the offensive line. I mean, Aaron Stinney did a great job stepping in. Yeah. So I foresee him, actually battling it out for a starting spot this season.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I know a lot of people are also saying that there just wasn't enough time to really see what Stinney could do.
Right.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I think that I definitely believe that he should get a chance to compete for that position, because he got out there and played when it really mattered, and that was very important too.
Absolutely. Yeah, he did. He stepped up big time, and yeah. So like I said, I foresee him, fighting for a starting spot there. So I don't really know I don't think maybe some backups, but I don't think that it's very necessary. What about you? What are you thinking we drafting?
Again, it's always great to address the trenches, offensive lineman or defensive tackle or somebody along that D line. Somebody mentioned linebacker. I mean, that would always be nice to have that rotation going.
Yeah.
Again, these are uncharted waters for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've never been in this kind of financial shape after, going to the playoffs or making these runs or, the kind of things that they did last year. So I'm just sitting back and enjoying this. I may ask the occasional question, but whoever Jason Licht brings in, I'm good.
I'm confident. I'm confident that, whatever they do, I believe in Jason Licht and Bruce Arians.
There you go. Clay Lynch says quarterback. Travis Bartell says defensive lineman, cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Travis also says center depth too. That's a good idea. Get a center in there. Get him training.
Yeah. So let's see. Guard depth. Willie Graham, you did. He said, I told you we were back to back. 25 of 25 players, a roster's back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believed everybody was going to come back. Like I said earlier, they're just going to get it done.
I don't know. I just, the Bucs, again, I may have PTSD or whatever.
Yeah.
They always strike me as somebody that doesn't go all out, just in general, just in their history. But I'm glad to be wrong. If there had been any other time to be wrong, now is that perfect time. Hey, I'm glad I was wrong. So that.
Yay, Gene was wrong. Great. But I was right. I was like, everyone's coming back. They worried me for a while there with Suck Up. They were like making us wait for a long time. I thought he was going to be one of the first ones to get re-signed. And every time they re-signed someone, I tweeted out on Twitter, I was like, do Ryan Suckup next. Like, Ryan Suckup is next. But they finally signed him, so don't have to worry about that one.
He said that the phone, they're saying, hold on. No?
Nobody to set up a cell phone?
No, I'm just looking here. I don't see. Somebody said they called in. Try calling back in again.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think bring AB back.
I think AB is definitely going to be coming back, at least for a 1-year contract, probably. And that's what I foresee.
Yeah. And B. Loggins, I'm right there with you. I think an edge rusher or a linebacker would be the pick at 32. Best players available at that position or trade back would work too.
Right.
Again, you can't go wrong with that. That's just more picks for you. That is a great idea too. I didn't really think about that. But the way this is all shaping up, I mean, the salary cap's going to go up pretty high next year. And I realize that Tampa's going to lose some players. Well, I shouldn't say that. You never know. You
never know. You really don't. If they do,
let me stop myself right here and take back. Just go ahead and take that back. I'm not going to hold on to that. But I just want to set us up for the future. Best player, of course. But if a quarterback is there to sit behind Brady, is a great move for the future.
I do agree with that. I think it would be
the right quarterback. I mean,
it does have to be the right quarterback. If you're going to invest in a quarterback, like out of the draft to sit behind Brady, like he's the future. We're relying on him to be the future. So that's a lot to put on a quarterback. I feel like that's a lot to put on a young kid to say, like, after Brady retires, like, you will lead this team to Super Bowls.
Because it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same like with Alex Smith and Mahomes. That was a totally different situation because it wasn't like, oh, I got to fill Alex Smith's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there and just ball like we know you can, and what it all kind of comes down to.
Yeah, you have to fill Tom Brady's shoes. Like, who wants to do that? That's a hard job to
it really is. So if we go around, if we look at the NFL, if we're looking at the NFL as a whole, and we're looking at how other teams are doing compared to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, doesn't it feel weird that we are in a position where we have signed back all your starters and everything's in place, everything is organized, and I don't know. It's a weird feeling, but it's still a good feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely strange. Normally I don't pay attention to the off season because, I'm like, why does it matter? Because who knows what's going to happen next season. I'll just let it play out.
Yeah.
But, this year it's important because, we want to bring the band back together. We're going for 2 back-to-back championships for sure. And to see other teams like doing like fire sales, like the Saints, for example, they're just like, everybody's for sale, like clearance must go. So I don't know what they're going to be like next season for sure.
All right. So the dude, are you there? Did I lose him?
Oh no.
Did I lose the dude?
Can you
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. Is this a Verizon commercial?
No, I think it's a Sprint now, but I'm on my Sprint. No, I'm sorry, not Sprint. It's Cricket. That's what it is. Cricket Wireless, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the internet.
There you go. So what's new and improved, my friend? And if you don't know who this is the dude. Every so often member that comes on here from Bucs Report. Shout out to Bucs Report and all the great shows that they have on. So what's new and improved, man? How are you enjoying this offseason?
Well, I mean, the Buccaneers are now the first Super Bowl champion in salary cap era to bring back every starter from a Super Bowl for the next season. So that's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That's
left and right.
I will say, as always, when I come on here, shout out to Smack Apparel. And I need to see both of your T-shirts, what you guys are wearing today, so we can tell everybody how cool and show everybody how cool you two are. Because
Smack Apparel.
Literally, there you go. You guys are leading the Buccaneer fan base fashion with the T-shirt game there, guys. Great job.
I always gotta be fashionable. I was gonna go out the other night, just on a girls' night, like just for dinner. And I was like, I have no normal clothes. All my clothes are sports T-shirts. So,
hey, sports T-shirts can be high fashion now.
They can be. I mean, hey, maybe you could bedazzle them or something. Is that still a thing? Is that?
No. Gene, it's not. We're not in the 90s anymore.
Yeah, well, you got to throw that out. I just thought I would ask. I don't know anything about women's fashion other than just what people say. So that's the only thing I can remember.
We've got everybody watching. First of all, give a lot of support to these two on screen. Tampa Sports Bae is literally crushing everybody on Twitter. If you're not following her, she's going to give you out her Twitter handle. Trust me, it's a great follow, lots of fun. Now, Gene, the dancing machine, my man, brother from another mother, the Arizona killer, the Buck which you heard thriller, man. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for you on a Wednesday and Friday night on Bucs Report, I would have a pretty boring evening, brother.
Well, thank you. We have fun too. We're in here doing it.
What are you guys' take on bringing back Leonard Fournette? Good or bad, or just throwing sprinkles on top of a beautiful cake?
Hey, I'm trusting the process, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
They like it. I love it.
I'll just say this. That team was clicking on all cylinders, hitting on all cylinders, whatever the case may be, by the end of the season and through the playoffs. Can you guys imagine what they're going to do with an actual off season?
That's going to
be they're going to be unbelievably great.
Have you guys seen the championship video, the DVD?
No, I haven't.
It is incredible. If you need to make time to watch that. I think Prime. I think it's on. Somebody said it was on Prime, or
okay, I'll have to check that out.
Or something like that. I had to buy it, so I watch it on my phone. So I'll sit through conference calls. I think I've watched it this week. I think I've watched it like 7 times this week. Seriously, from beginning to end.
Yeah.
But one
Gene,
thing,
it just dawned on me. Gene, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It just dawned on me. Today's Friday, correct?
Yes.
Doesn't that make you 5G Gene today? That
sure does. But I don't have any superpowers. I can't fly or run fast or none of that stuff. I mean, this is a real letdown.
Oh man, well, at least
but
you know
what?
you are.
It was painless. It's actually painless. I mean, maybe I still got to wait a little while, but I haven't any side effects or anything.
That's good.
It's been just like regular day for me.
Wouldn't it be cool if, as we're talking on air right now, you had like a third leg growing out of the top of your head?
Oh my goodness.
I'm hoping for Marvel type powers, like flying or something. I want to get something good out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, even like if it was a radioactive spider venom or something like that, where I could climb walls, I'd be good with that
Spider
too.
Gene.
I want Tom Brady's superpower, whatever it is, because he looks like he's 25 years old, and I'm like jealous.
That's
TB12 routine, eating avocado ice cream and avocado tequila.
Have you tried that yet?
Avocado tequila?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if that's a thing, but
I think it's a joke.
Should definitely be a thing.
I never followed up on it. I saw it on Twitter, but I never followed up on it. I was like, normally I'm like, is this real or is this not real? And I'll go and look it up, but I just haven't done that. I probably should. So what I was wanting to do, just real quick, while I have you, Mr. The Dude, I value your NFL opinion. What are your thoughts on, I'm going to give you the 4 teams in the NFC South, and I want to just get your thoughts on them. I don't know if you've been watching. I'm sure you have, because you are highly engrossed into football at this time of the year. So the first team is the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. Hey, Atlanta. The best part about your team right now is the stadium, guys. Matty Ice, I think it's time to move on. But who do you replace him with? I mean, not every team can sign a Tom Brady in the offseason. So Rich McKay and the boys over there got their hands filled. The Todd Gurley experiment didn't work out too well for you last year.
Yeah.
You fired a coach. Atlanta, to me, Atlanta is the 3rd or 4th place team in this division.
Are they? So they're officially rebuilding.
If I were them, I would. I mean, Julio Jones, hey, way to waste that career, Falcons. But yeah, I mean, not saying that Matty Splice, whatever his name is, not saying he still can't play, but we've seen the best out of him. He's kind of coming down the mountain, so to speak.
Yeah.
Atlanta, I would say full rebuild mode is something the Falcons will never say, because then they can't fill up that stadium. But it's time to recalculate, I think, is the word for the Falcons, because so what you've been doing didn't work, and the best you got with this squad, or the core of this squad, was blowing a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. And yes, I had to bring that up.
Shout out to Tom Brady. Love you, man.
Mm-hmm.
So again, see how it all falls. It comes full circle about Atlanta. I bet we can talk about the Carolina Panthers, and it'll somehow get back to Atlanta and blowing that 28-3 lead. What are your thoughts on Carolina?
Carolina, are you a team on the right course, or are you a bridge over troubled waters? I think with Christian McCaffrey, you always have the ability to have a decent offense. Maybe not the high-flying offense that people like nowadays, but Christian McCaffrey is still a bona fide stud. Carolina's always had, for the most part, I should say, has always had a notoriously stout defense. But let's be real. After Christian McCaffrey and Teddy Bridgewater, still a bit of a question mark. I mean, the guy can play, but is he able to put a team on his back and take them to the playoffs? I'm not so sure about that. So
yeah.
So Carolina blue, it's going to be blue for you a couple years. And the way to tie that back to Atlanta is Bucs Report's own Rick Hughes, host of the Cheap Seats and What's Cooking in the South, lives in Charlotte, and he just moved from Atlanta. So keep it going. All right, let's do it.
He's just going to move all around the NFC South.
Yep, and we're already at our arch enemies, our newly minted arch enemies, the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
There's too much material here, I know.
We love every one of our followers here on Bucs Report. Even the Winstonites, the Winstoneers, whatever you want to call them. But right now, that organization has to figure out if it's Taysom or Jameis, or is it Jason and Tamus, one or the other. Like you guys pointed out a couple minutes ago, there's a fire sale going on there. The team has listed all its players on eBay and Wish and everywhere. So the thing is Sean Payton, and when I say that name, it's like vinegar coming out of my mouth because I'm not a Sean Payton fan. I don't think he was punished properly for Bounty Gate. I think he's a horrible human being to the core. That's just my opinion. But the guy can coach the hell out of the football team.
Yeah.
And because of that, I feel like the New Orleans Saints, whether it's pick six Winston or tight end Taysom Hill, I still think they can pull off second place in the division. I just don't think it's going to equal a wild card for them this year.
No.
There we go. I like it.
Oh, and wait a minute. Didn't they just have a player get arrested because he's an idiot?
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know. I had to look it up. I'm sure it'll come up.
I think it'll come up at some point. But I've got the NFC South, right now, finishing with the Buccaneers in first place.
Okay.
Saints, Panthers, Falcons.
Really?
Sounds about
well, you
right.
know what? I'm gonna go on record saying that the Carolina Panthers are gonna surprise everybody and get that second place spot in the NFC South. You heard it
I
here.
think they'll surprise everyone, but I don't think they'll get the second place. I think they will be surprising.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah. Like I said, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the rest of the offseason with draft picks. They are a very, very, very young team, and they're still coming along. They're missing a lot of pieces, but I do see them making some moves, some low-key moves, but the majority of the things they'll do will be in the draft. So it's going to be interesting to see what that.
The Panthers do have a solid young but solid coaching staff in place. I do have high hopes for that coaching staff. I just don't know if they got the equipment or the tools yet. But that said, I think the Saints have gotten rid of 8 to 10 starters this offseason.
Yep.
That can't be good.
Yeah.
No.
You're kicking the can down the road, man. You got to eventually pay somebody.
Well, and Buccaneer fans, you're getting a small glimpse into the reality 10 years from now what the Bucs are going to go through if they keep kicking the can. But
I don't think they will. I think they're smarter than that. I think they're just all in right now, and this is the time.
Well, with Tom Brady, how could you not be? I mean, if you're going to go all in any time in the existence of the franchise, it's when you got Tom Brady running the team. Yeah, I can see Carolina and Teddy Bridgewater improving. But let's be fair, Teddy Bridgewater didn't have an offseason to learn the Panthers schemes and all that. And they had a brand new coach. But I guess what I'm saying is the Buccaneers will win the division and the Falcons will suck. There. That's my prediction.
Yeah, Falcons are going to do what Falcons do best, and they're just going to choke.
Yeah, basically, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Christina, I want to get your thoughts. You've been very quiet over here and subdued.
Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier, Saints are on a fire sale for sure. So they're just getting rid of everybody. And I think they'll still be second, but I do believe in Teddy Bridgewater. I think he'll have a pretty good season with the Panthers. They're still a young team, like y'all were saying. So I think they might have a winning season, but not by much.
I'm wondering what their quarterback position really is, what that situation is like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that the fact that Carolina wants a quarterback, they've pretty much made that obvious. And I think that Teddy Bridgewater feels some kind of way. Could be wrong.
Yeah, they might put some pressure on him.
Yeah, just the way everything has gone with that situation. I think he's a good quarterback. I mean, if you're wanting to sit somebody behind, that would be a perfect person to sit somebody behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But eventually, I think when they're going to need to make that next leap, just as B. Loggins is saying, they're going to need to invest in a rock solid quarterback. and you want to jump on that youth movement, but picking on a quarterback and landing a good quality quarterback is not it's not easy. It just comes every so often.
Being a good quarterback in college and being a good quarterback in the NFL are two different games.
Yep.
A college quarterback and NFL quarterback are almost like two different positions.
Right.
So it's very hard to judge if a star college quarterback is going to be and do well in the NFL. That's why I'm always wary about drafting quarterbacks and then having them start right away, because I just don't think they're ready for that.
Yep, exactly. And you got to have the checkup from the neck up, and a lot of those guys don't. I mean,
nope.
I look
mature enough to
we look at our former quarterback. Yeah, I mean, there are just examples all over the place. So, I don't know. So, the dude, you still with us?
Of course, I'm here hanging on, enjoying a nice adult beverage out here on the back porch, listening to one of my favorite shows on the internet.
Very nice.
Hey, no problem. Before you kick me to the curb here, Mr. Dean, let me throw out a shout out to the Deck Bar and Grill at Isla del Sol. Cedric Robinson and all the people down there do a great job. They do a lot to support Bucs Report. If you're in the St. Petersburg area, on your way to the beach, stop at the Deck Bar and Grill for the best food, best drink specials, live Bucs Report shows, and of course, Peter H. Blake, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Harry the Greek, and all the people that are involved with Bucs Report show up there all the time, just randomly because, well, they give us free food. But that said, I had to jump on for a little bit. I missed you guys the past couple of weeks. Shout out to KB on Wednesday and Michael Pless of Real Bucs Talk. Hey, if you guys listen, if you're going to follow any other Buccaneers page or Twitter account, besides Bucs Report, make sure it's Real Bucs Talk. Real Bucs Talk, the best film breakdown, the best film study, and they go deeper than most of us do into what players are going to be the ones to target in the draft, what players the Buccaneers can exploit when they do play them in the regular season. So check out Real Bucs Talk. Shout out over the pond, all the way across the pond to our do we call them British people anymore? Are they British? Is that British, bro?
I don't know.
They don't go by British.
There's so many do's and don'ts here. I just across the pond. That does it for me.
Okay, shout out to Bucs UK. Granted, most of us are over here in the United States cheering on the Bucs fan, but they have a Buccaneer fan group in the United Kingdom with roughly 25,000 members.
It's huge.
Think about that. There's 25,000 Bucs fans in the United Kingdom. So that's typically more than you'll find in Raymond James Stadium on an average Sunday. Shout out to all the people who support Gene on Twitter, on Facebook. Support us. Please go follow Tampa Sports Bae. If you haven't followed Tampa Sports Bae yet, get your life together, okay?
Get it together.
Follow Gene, follow Bucs Report, Nick Citro, Evan Winter, and real quick, shout out to Peter Blake coming up here a little bit later tonight. Shout out to Joshua Cole Allen, the busiest man at Bucs Report. If he's not on a press conference, not writing an article, he's getting ready to relaunch his show, The Audible. Stay tuned and look for information on that coming up. Make sure, though, everybody watching, go to Smack Apparel social media accounts on Facebook and Twitter. Follow, subscribe, like, and then buy their shirts. Look at the shirts these guys are wearing. These are the best Buccaneer shirts. Great quality, great price, great people involved behind the company who give great support to Gene and everybody here at Bucs Report. Tampa Sports Bae, as always, nothing but love, nothing but respect and admiration. Gene, my brother from another mother, I appreciate you giving me a vine on your show and giving me some time to talk. Not sure who wanted to hear it, but I enjoy saying it.
Always welcome.
Before you guys, well, thank you. Every day, tell somebody you love them. Reach out to somebody who might need to hear from you, and just be kind. and nice to each other. And let's all work towards being a better people. And we're a couple months away from the real start, the draft, training camp, mini camp, and then before you know it, it's Buccaneer football. So, ladies and gentlemen, hit that share button, hit the like button, drop some comments. Don't be scared. Show everybody here at Bucs Report that you support everything they do. And again, both of you, thank you so much.
All
Myself,
right.
I'm going to go have another adult beverage and get ready for the Sports Web live at 9 p.m.
All right.
Thank you.
And that was Keith, the dude. Excuse me. You're not dropping government names here. What's wrong with me?
Now I'm going to be wanted.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Hey, shout out. Oh, and I forgot. I always send my love to every troll, every hater. We appreciate you just as much as we appreciate the love that we get from the people.
I love
So
the
thank you
haters.
for your support. Gene, Tampa Sports Bae, again, great job as usual. Gene, give me a shout tomorrow. I want to talk to you about funny stuff, but we can't talk about it on air, brother.
Hey, whatever works, man. I'll be there.
All right, thank you so much, Michael.
All right, guys.
I'll talk to you.
All right.
Right.
Well, that was, man. It's always great to have these kind of calls on here.
Absolutely.
So, something I was wanting to go. I was going to ask you about. What is Chris talking about here? Outside of Spencer, outside of Spencer Rattler, I don't see anything else. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they. Let's see here. Sam Howell, next Tanner Morgan. Great prospects. Okay, hold on. We got another call here.
Okay.
You are live on Buck What You Heard. Who we talking with?
Hey, Gene and Christina, it's Todd.
Hey, Todd. How you doing?
God.
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Doing real good. What's on your mind tonight?
Listen, I got. Well, I was really happy today that we signed Fournette. I know Peter Blake, and I love Peter. Love all you guys. I know Peter's a big Ronald Jones fan, but let me tell you something. Fournette did step up for us in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He scored a touchdown in every game of the playoffs. He ran for 448 yards. And some of those yards were really tough yards when we needed them, when we needed a first down. I mean, I just think the guy is a beast, and he just brings. And not that Ronald Jones isn't a good back, because he is. I like Ronald Jones too, but they're two different backs, two different styles.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really happy about that today. And then I wanted to ask y'all if there's been any news on Antonio Brown, because I think we need Antonio Brown too. I think he takes a lot of pressure off all of our other receivers. He is a number one receiver. And if we can get him back with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and not selling the other guys short, but if we do that, we have three number one receivers right there in Evans, Godwin, and Antonio Brown.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? That you have that kind of talent in the wide receiver room, that you're still, able to do something like that. So for you, when we talk about the draft, who are you interested in, the Bucs getting? Are there any names out there or positions?
Well, there's a couple positions that I think could be interesting. And I also have thought about if there is a quarterback there that we need to maybe start grooming a quarterback for the future. Now, we have Tom Brady for 2 more years, which is great. So if you bring a young guy in and he can learn from the best, I think that's a feather in the Bucs cap to get a young quarterback to, pick Tom Brady's mind and watch how Tom Brady goes about his business.
Yep, I agree, man. That's a great assessment right there. Mm-hmm. So how confident are you in this team just as they are right now? We haven't even gotten to the draft.
I think they killed it. I think they won the free agency over all the other teams, including New England. I know New England's been getting a lot of pub, but they're doing that because they want to beat us in that game, and I'm sure that's going to be a Monday night game, and they want to beat us, and Tom Brady's not going to go in there and not be fired up for that game.
I think he's going to be more fired up than Cam Newton is.
Oh, just saying that name.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Because I really believe that, when you look at that game is going to be incredible. I think that when Bill Belichick, when that final gun went off in the Super Bowl, I know Bill Belichick was just eaten up inside with the fact that Tom Brady came to Tampa and did the impossible and helped get this team over the hump to do what they did last year. So I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting to say the least.
Yeah, and I also heard, and I don't know if y'all can confirm this or not, because y'all get better information than I do. I get all my information from all you guys because I watch you guys and I listen. But I thought I read or I heard that we have the second easiest schedule in the NFL next year.
I heard that too.
Yeah, typically the Bucs have had really hard schedules, whereas I think wasn't it even this season or maybe it was last season where they were on the road for several games in a row. Yeah. And that's hard on the team to be flying back and forth, and then especially in COVID was even more difficult. So typically they do have a difficult schedule, and then always a late.
You remember Bruce? Right. You remember Bruce Arians' first year? We had a stretch there where we didn't have a home game for 8, 9, maybe 10 weeks.
Yeah,
now, I'm not stretching it or giving a week or two here or there.
I'm trying to remember when that was. I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah. I mean, whoever the schedule makers were, I was really upset with them because we had to go on the road for I don't know how many weeks, and we didn't have a home game for almost 2 months.
Right, I remember when that was. So hopefully, we get a better schedule this year. Earlier bye week, I think right in the middle of the season is good. This season we had a really late bye week, I think.
And I think that was huge. And we got to shout that out too, that bye week and where
bye week is when things turned around.
Exactly. And that was week 13. So
yeah, that was great. That was great. It was a late bye week, and I think that bye week came at the right time because after that, we won 8 in a row and we went on our run, and then to go on the road for 3 straight playoff games and win those games says a lot. Now, the only thing I think about when this season is coming up is we got the team to do it again. We've got everybody back. They've got to stay healthy. That's the key is all of our guys staying healthy. And we were, we did have some injuries last year. Mike was hurt for a little while and Chris Godwin. And, so we did have some guys banged up, and then we lost Kappa and then Stimmy came in and did a great job. So I think the key is for us to stay healthy. And I think the South Division is ours. I mean,
100%.
I don't think Atlanta's that good. Carolina's young, and New Orleans, like Christina said a while ago, they're getting rid of everybody because they got problems.
They're having a yard sale.
Yes. And then Marshawn Lattimore got arrested for having a gun or something today.
Yeah, and. Oh, you know what? That was 2019 that the Bucs had that long stretch. Mm-hmm. So that's
okay.
Oh yeah, and they had that London trip. That's what Loggins is thinking there. Oh, that was hard. That was hard.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine that.
So hopefully they have a much better.
Carolina lost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you guys think we should take in the draft? I mean, I like maybe a defensive player on the defensive line, to maybe a young guy to groom. And I also thought about, the running backs there. There's some good running backs in this draft. Harris and the kid from Clemson, the two kids from North Carolina, Carter and Williams. So you've got some players there that are really good backs that we could pick one of those guys and groom them along. And hopefully Keyshawn Vaughn, comes on too. I like Keyshawn Vaughn. I think he just needs some time and some experience. And I think Keyshawn can do it.
Yeah. I think he may have a lot more opportunity. I know that, with the loss of Shady McCoy, who really didn't do a whole lot, but he was there. I mean, I don't know what he did in the locker room. I can't say that for sure.
We don't know what happened.
But I think there's a little bit more opportunity for him. I hope to see more of him. That's why it would be great if we did have a preseason or a couple of preseason games or camp, something just so he could show off what he could do. And I think it's been really beneficial for him not to have such a large part in all this, because he's learning from these other running backs. And I think that eventually he will be in a place where he can be successful.
I agree with you totally, Gene. That's great. Like I say, I just think he needs some time and experience. He's a young guy, and he's got time. He can learn from Jones and Fournette. And like I say, I don't know if we have another running back on the team right now or not, but to draft one and to groom him as well, because we don't know what we're going to do with Jones. I would think if he has another great year this year, that we'll pick up his 5th-year option.
Yeah, he's got to kill it, though.
He does.
As far as like blocking and catching, he's got to be a consistent blocker and a consistent receiver. What he did was incredible. And some of the plays that he made that got called back, and just some of the things that just prevented him from really showing what he can do. I think he's real close. And I'm glad to have him and Leonard Fournette, on the same team. I think that will be beneficial for the Bucs winning games as well, because you're looking at 2 guys that you can rotate in, or 3 guys you can rotate in and really put the defense on their heels.
Well, I thought they were a great tandem, and Bruce went with who was hot. If Ronald Jones was hot, he went with Ronald Jones. If Fournette was hot, he went with Fournette.
Right.
And of course, Fournette didn't have a great regular season, but he stepped up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought I don't want to lose this guy.
Yeah. And I think that gets missed a lot. The little small things that occurred during the season. Yeah, Fournette didn't have the best regular season, from the time he came in, other than the Panthers game. He didn't really have a consistently good season compared to some of his past years. But I like how he kept his head, and stayed in there. When his opportunity came up, then you saw him go out and do what he needed to do. And so once we've seen this, we know that this is something he's capable of, and this is why a lot of people wanted him back.
Well, I mean, you know what? He was a top 5 draft pick.
Oh, absolutely.
He went to Jacksonville, and Jacksonville didn't have a very good team. I mean, he was the bell cow there.
Right.
And, the thing about what I don't know if Leonard realizes this. I know maybe some of the other players do and the coaches do. When you have another back and you guys are splitting those reps, it's gonna prolong his career a little bit longer. Because he's not running 300 carries, a year. He's splitting those carries, and I think he'll have a little bit longer of a career because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he doesn't have to be the whole offense like he was in Jacksonville, where he was basically the whole offense. Occasionally they would get the wide receiver in when they weren't hurt. They would produce as well, but for the most part, consistently, he was, when he was not injured, your most consistent piece of offense on the team.
Right, and that's one
right,
of the
right.
Buccaneers is they're a pass offense before anything else. So they're going to pass before they're going to run. So between Leonard Fournette and Rojo sharing the runs, that's just going to only, make for like a longer career for them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think if Ronald can get better at catching the ball out of the backfield, and Leonard did pretty good this year. I know he missed some passes, but that's what Brady wants. Brady wants a back that can catch that ball out of the backfield and
like a James White.
Sometimes be that, and like a James White, and be that second or third, check down that he can go to, and pick up 10, 15, 20 yards. And that's Brady did that his whole career with New England because he always had a back that could catch the ball out of the backfield. So I'm excited. I know you guys are too. I think we can make another run. I hope and pray, and I don't want to jinx this. I hope and pray that we stay healthy, and we can do this thing again.
That's going to be the trick right there, is making sure that everybody's healthy. I think
if everyone is healthy, they definitely have a shot at running it back. Well, not should say that. Of going for two.
Yeah,
okay, there you go. That's better.
Yeah,
you're forgiven.
Yeah, going for two. Yeah, I just don't see. They're bragging about Matthew Stafford going to the Rams. I just don't. I don't know what the Rams are doing out there. The Rams haven't had a first round draft pick in 8 years, so I don't know if they really know what they're doing or not. Think about that.
Yeah, but you gotta kind of blame that on the general manager making those kind of deals. So
yeah. I mean, and not that they haven't picked up some good players, because they have, but when you don't have any,
because they went to the Super Bowl and came up short.
Exactly. And you build your team through your draft, and you get free agents that can come in there that are veterans and that have the experience, but you have to build through the draft. And that's what Jason Licht has done. He has built through this draft. Devin White, Tristan Wirfs, Winfield. I mean, you think about some of the draft picks, and Vita Vea. Think about what he's done over the past 2 or 3 years. It's been incredible. And he's got to be the NFL Executive of the Year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to be.
And all the Twitter GMs were losing their minds when Vita Vea's name was announced. Well, we celebrated because
I celebrated. Yeah, I was pretty happy.
Yeah, because I felt like, the Bucs had not done enough to address the trenches, and I've been crying for them to get somebody on that D line, and they did in a big way.
And once I saw Tristan Wirfs jump out of that pool, I was like, we gotta have him. He's got to be here.
Yeah. Yes, Christina. He's a great athlete, and to have only he only gave up 1 sack all year long. The rookie, unbelievable. Yeah. And Antonio Winfield, unbelievable. What a year he had. So I think we got our guys back, and I think we're there. We need to sign Brown, and then we got our whole team back, and then we can just pick the best player available in the draft. I don't think we've ever been in that position.
We haven't
before.
The Bucs have never been in that position, and it's just crazy to think about that. The teams, some of the squads they've had, but they've just never been in a spot where they have cap room. They're not worried about what the players are doing as long as they're healthy. And then you go out there and you get that guy that could be a cornerstone for your team for years to come.
Right. Well, listen, I'm gonna let y'all go and let some other people on here and let them talk to you guys. You guys are awesome. You always do a great job. God bless y'all, and stay healthy and stay safe. Okay.
All right. You have a good one.
Bye. Thank you.
You too, Gene. Bye-bye.
All righty.
Wow, I can't believe we've been on here for an hour and 14 minutes.
I know, it goes by so fast all the time. We always say that. Oh my God, it's been an hour.
I know.
I mean,
So-
I could talk about the Bucs literally all day long. That's what I've told people before. And I'm like, you'll get annoyed with me pretty quickly.
So what is the I know we're talking about draft analysis. Who do you we've got somebody else calling in. Hold on one second here. All right, you are live on Buck What You Heard. Who we talking with?
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
What's going on?
Hey, not too much.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you guys real quick because I've been listening to your show, and I agree with callers. One of the things she was talking about regarding the Antonio Brown / the Larry Fitzgerald deal, plus Leonard Fournette versus Rojo. I'm not sure why there's a versus, but I do believe. And by the way, I'm sorry, my name's Steve.
All right, Steve.
I'm out of Texas, so big Bucs fan, though, big Tom Brady fan. So excited for that Super Bowl when it took place with the team, especially with no OTAs, no time to really get to know each other and that sort of thing. But I wanted to touch on something I heard you saying in regards to Leonard Fournette and Rojo, where I believe I heard Bae talking about how Rojo did better things in the season than Leonard Fournette did. And that's true, but then you got to also understand, same principle applies when he's new to the team. He's getting his legs up under him, all that sort of stuff. He's to the team. Rojo been here for a little bit, be a little bit more familiar. And I put in the chat, name one thing, and I really love to hear an answer to that question. Name one thing Rojo does better than Lenny.
His field of vision, the way he hits the hole. I can point to at least 15 times where there's a hole and Leonard Fournette goes the other way, or he tries to run east-west instead of north-south. But again, I like the way Rojo runs the ball. When he hits the hole, and he's a violent runner as a running back, just strictly as a running back. And when you look at the physicality that you see from Leonard Fournette, like in the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship, just the way he can run over people when he chooses to do so. So many times he runs east-west instead of running north-south. But
I agree with you. Yeah. On that. And the Rojo, he's much more explosive, especially between the tackles. He can hit the hole fast.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And he finds the little seams, and he can hit the hole, and he's gone. So he's definitely quicker from that jump. So he doesn't have more power. I don't necessarily know if he has more speed. He hits the hole quicker. He's, like you say, his vision's better in that respect. Mm-hmm. He definitely doesn't have more power. I remember watching Super Bowl with a bunch of folks who were not necessarily Tampa Bay Bucs fans, but they just can't stand KC.
Right.
That's great. We love it.
I'm on that bandwagon too.
And I remember watching those 4 downs where they ran Rojo, and to a man, they were like, "Why are they running that dude? Where's Lenny?" To a man, they said, "Why? Where's Lenny? If Lenny was on the one would have hit that, you guys would have got the touchdown."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I agree with that.
It's situational. I agree with that too, because he was the hot guy. He should have been the one, going in, or at least setting something up that they could have run offensively. I'm not going to argue with that. I mean, when you talk about power and, doing what he needs to do, I just think that there are opportunities that Rojo has to run the ball, like that 98 yards?
Yeah, 98 yards. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that was like the longest. There's only like 4 running backs that's ever done that. But I mean, just his breakaway speed, his burst, just how violent he runs, and I kind of go back and forth with this, because there were games where I would watch Leonard Fournette hit the hole. And then I'm like, man, I wish Rojo was out there. And you see Rojo hit the hole.
Yeah, because Rojo would hit that hole.
And then they throw they throw a screen pass and he drops the ball or something like that, and just kind of takes away all the momentum that he had. It just kind of takes away from what he's done. So I understand why people feel the way they do. I just feel like with Ronald Jones, what we've seen, the market improvement year after year after year that he's made, I really feel like, he's so close. And I think that, these are all coachable things that people are being critical of him about. I think there's no physical physical deficiencies. I think it's just basically coachable things, and I'm sure they're going to work on those kind of things.
And I agree. Now, I agree and disagree. Here's where I agree. They can work on those things, but certain things, certain aspects of the game, you just either have it or you don't. Most running backs who don't have good hands their whole career. It's not something that you can teach. They just don't have the hand, and that's just how it works. I've not seen a case where running backs who have bad hands all of a sudden develop good hands. I've just not seen it. I do know that Tom Brady likes versatile running backs. Mm-hmm. He likes running backs that can catch. He likes running backs that can hit the hole, that can run, and he likes running backs that can block. Rojo can do one of those things. Really, really good. He does one of them real good, but he doesn't do the other two. Lenny does all three of them well. There's a reason why he was a first round pick. And there was a reason why Rojo was a second round pick. Just saying. Now, then there's, you can make the argument in reverse. Well, Tom Brady was sixth round. I get it. But when it comes to running backs, there's a reason some weren't first round, and there's a reason some are second and third round. Doesn't mean the second and third rounders are bad. It just means the ones who were first rounds are better.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I hear what you're saying. I see a lot of potential in Ronald Jones. I really do, and I'm excited to see what he can do and how he's going to develop during this season. Like you said, the biggest thing is being able to catch the ball in a screen, because Tom Brady really does love that. But I think if Leonard Fournette and Rojo are working together and sharing it, it's not necessarily needed for him to do as much catching if Leonard Fournette is going to be more of that screen pass guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
No, that's a good point. That's true. The only thing I dislike about that is what that means is when you put Rojo in the game, and don't get me wrong, Rojo's, like I said, he does have great vision, but that means when you put him in the game, everybody knows it's a run play.
Right. Yeah, that's also very true. So I am excited to see what he can do this season. And this is his fourth year, so he's got to prove a lot to the Buccaneers to see if he's going to be staying for a little bit longer or not. So he's got a lot to prove for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he will land a spot on a team somewhere where they will just utilize him for the skill sets that he has.
No, I agree with that. I know it's funny that we're arguing about this, because we're basically arguing about having a abundance of riches.
Right. Yeah.
Again, you'll get no argument out of me. I mean, that's everybody has that preference. And I just ultimately at the end of the day, I want this team to win games. So I remember when Rojo was doing bad, I was like, hey, just give it time. You're going to get to see your favorite running back at some point in the season. So that's kind of my take right now. I think they're both required. I think they're both important to the Bucs repeating getting back to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, that's something that's kind of how I look at it.
I can agree with that. And I want to know, once you both know, I appreciate your stance on AB. I don't know why. I know AB, a lot of his issues are practically all of them are self-inflicted, but the guy can play. He is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, a Hall of Famer. He is, and people, and I know we talked about it in relation to, well, when he's on the field and Mike Evans is on the field, he had half a season.
Yeah.
If AB had an entire season, in half the season he got almost 500 yards in half the regular season. He had almost 500 yards catching. So if he had a full season, imagine what he would be.
Between Mike incredible.
Evans, exactly, between Mike Evans, who I love, Godwin's great. Godwin's a phenomenal player. But between the three, AB is the best player. He's the best route runner. He has better hands. He's just a better overall player. The problem is, I've watched him for years with Pittsburgh, so I know how good he is. The guy's phenomenal player, and he's, for a guy his size, he's incredibly quick and he's incredibly strong. I mean, he can run through people if he has to.
He's a very physical wide receiver.
He's not afraid to make contact, and his route running is amazing. I've seen very few receivers that can run routes the way he can, which is why he seems to always be open. And even remember when he first came on board, and Arians was kind of throwing Brady under the bus in several games, especially games we lost. Arians was just, well, I don't know. AB was open. AB was open the whole game. I don't know why we didn't get the ball to him.
Exactly.
He just had. So I love Larry Fitzgerald. I would love to see him get a ring, but I agree with you both. Between the two, I'd rather see AB come back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in. Yeah. Hopefully you can call in next Friday. We will be back. I promise.
Absolutely. I look forward to your show's great, by the way.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Man, that is great when we get callers. I wish you guys would call in sooner during the show. So we can kind of,
I like that, like in depth talking about back and forth. I didn't see it as like an argument or
I didn't either. I enjoy talking. I want somebody to have a differing opinion.
Yeah, I like to hear everybody's side of things, and Ben,
because it'll make you think.
Yeah, Ben Parrish here said in the comment they can be an awesome 1-2 punch between Rojo and Leonard Fournette. Like I would love to see that relationship develop.
Exactly. That's what we wanted last year when Leonard Fournette came in. It was like, okay, these two guys together are going to be unstoppable. Mm-hmm. But it never got.
So now I'm hoping, like he was saying, Leonard Fournette didn't get that off season where he was able to learn the plays. So he had a rough start. And then, during the playoffs, Ronald Jones wasn't 100% healthy. So they weren't able to, be that, that double threat. So hoping definitely they'll be a lot better this year. And I'm definitely looking forward to see what Rojo can do in the future.
Yeah. You know what? I haven't given up on him. He's still a Buccaneer and he was very productive. He was 20 something yards off of 1,000. And I picked him to get 1,000. So I'm not giving up on him. I think that he's a big part of this offense, whether people like him or not. They're still going to go back to him.
Yeah.
And I think you're still going to get production out of him. And if you like him, you will eventually see him on the field. If you like more of a Leonard Fournette, you'll get to see him on the field as well. So, just look for both of them. And I think that's kind of how we should really view this, is if anything.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. That's one thing that they're good about is playing everyone and figuring out who has the hot hand, you know, even if it's somebody that's not a starter typically, like, if it's not Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, and Cameron Braid or Tyler Johnson have the hot hand, they're going to play those guys over anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like B. Loggins. I'm like, I think I don't think we do need to draft
I don't think so either. I've heard a lot of people say running back first round, and I just don't think it's necessary because you do have Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, and then you also got Keyshawn Vaughn, who is also being developed. So definitely don't think it's necessary. Yeah,
I totally agree with you. This is interesting. I followed AB when he was in Pittsburgh. He's also funny, especially when he straddled the goalpost. Every time I see that, it makes my day. I stuck with AB when he went with Brady to New England. I want AB to remain with Brady. I want to see AB re-sign with the Tampa Bay Bucs. I know a lot of people feel the same way. Mm-hmm. It's always irritated me because I've always felt like AB was never the same after that dirty hit from Vontaze Burfict. If you haven't ever seen that hit, look at that hit. But I think that he's in a place right now. He's making the most out of this opportunity.
Yeah, he's very, very humbled, I think, from being given that second chance. I honestly never thought AB would ever play in the NFL again. And I was skeptical of him coming back. And, he really proved to be like a model citizen almost, and I think Tom Brady had a lot to do with that. If he had gone to any other team, I don't think he would have been able to play as well or even, keep his behavior in check. But it was because of Tom Brady and the relationship that they have that made AB good.
I think too, he realizes, this is a great opportunity for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another part of it, another facet of all this.
Yeah. He's very thankful because, like I said, nobody wanted to give him a shot.
Yeah.
He's got to make the most of it.
And now you see Russell Wilson wants him to sign in Seattle.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But again, there are we talked about earlier in the show, there are a lot of players, you mentioned this, that want to come to Tampa. So while it would be so frustrating to not have 3 number 1 wide receivers, which is a luxury, and there are teams that don't even have one number one.
Yeah, they barely have one.
Exactly. So, I think we should all enjoy these 2 years, this year, last year, and this year, because it's not very often that you get a team that's as stacked as what the Bucs are right now.
Absolutely. And I've always noticed it. I've been a Bucs fan for so long, and I would always tell people at the beginning of the season, I'm like, they're so stacked. They've got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, whatever running back they had that season. And I'd be like, they've got Levante David, they've got everybody. And then, the only thing they were missing was a quarterback.
Yeah.
And then it just all came together this season. So I'm just excited to ride this out for this next season coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right about AB after that dirty hit. His attitude seemed to change after that. He hasn't been right since then. Yeah, I've been saying that. If you do the timeline to where all the erratic behavior and all the other crazy stuff was going on, you didn't really hear about AB prior to that. Then you started hearing rumblings in the locker room, so on and so on. But I think that he was just fine until that hit. I stand by that.
Yeah.
Again, well, we are out of here. I think we'll be able to talk a little bit more. We'll have a better picture of what Tampa is going to be doing as we get closer and closer to the draft, which will be held in Cleveland this year. I believe the NFL is pushing for full audience. I mean, just anybody can go kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Cleveland. I'd rather have gone.
I've never been, so I can't say.
Oh, I can say for you. It's horrible.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. B. Loggins, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, B. Loggins. Always in the chat, commenting. Thanks to everyone in the chat, of course.
Yeah, Carl Hardy. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you guys like it. I mean, we get to get out here and talk about, these teams, the team we love, and hopefully we can get some of you guys to call in earlier into the show. So we can
definitely
hang out longer. So just consider that. I mean, there may be opportunity to win a T-shirt if you call in. So
yeah, sometimes we do SmackDown. We do a 60-second SmackDown. You never know.
Yep. So check it out. And if you get an opportunity when you see that number coming across the bottom of the screen, call in and just talk to us. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. Christina, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. Let me get your final thoughts.
Go ahead, everyone. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tampa Sports Bae. That's BAE. And then final thoughts, just super excited about this season, this off season for the Bucs. And then, if you guys are a fan of any other Tampa Bay sports teams, I love the Rays and the Lightning. Lightning are doing great. Rays are about to start their season. So just excited for Tampa Bay all over the place. Go ahead.
Right. I think that the Lightning are going to mess around and win another one.
Oh, they definitely are. No,
they're playing really good right now. I mean, this is real solid, and it's exciting to see this kind of thing.
Yeah, the Lightning did a similar thing to what the Bucs are doing right now. They re-signed basically everyone.
Yeah.
There was a few people that they weren't able to, but they signed pretty much everyone.
That's right. And
it's Tampa Bay, baby.
There we go. It's all here for now. Let's everybody take it all in and enjoy it.
Yep.
Well, my final thoughts are, it's so great the majority of the time that, even on Bucs Twitter or social media, everybody's getting along. Everybody's enjoying this Super Bowl victory. And I think we should all just continue to enjoy this going all the way to the last game of the season. me personally. I mean, I'm wearing my Super Bowl gear every chance I get. I went to pick up my PS5 and I had on my Super Bowl
You finally
jersey.
got a PS5?
Heck yeah. I've been celebrating for the past couple of days. So, I mean, that's why I haven't been on social media. I've been like getting all my games set up, getting everything lined up, and I'm happy. So this weekend, you probably will rarely see me on social media. It's good.
Where's Gene? Don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys, everybody. Have a good night, and we are out of here.
Bye.